really should put together a greatest hits of what goes on between the podcasts because we do 2 at a time.
Hence our shirts being the same ones as last week.
This is the second episode in a row. Welcome to another episode of What's Good Under the Hood. Greg Hood, What's Good Under the Hood. That's where we got the name of the podcast from. Owner of Mazda of Columbia. You see, I state the obvious, but it is true. Greg Hood is in the house.
I'm sorry.
Captain Obvious to my right.
And from Fox Sports Radio, our friend Rob Sanders. And I'm Andy. Welcome.
Andy Woods.
Andy Woods from 97.5.
Not Greg Hoods, it's Andy Woods.
Woods.
Andy Woods and Greg Hood.
What are we talking about today? I have no idea.
Andy's going to end up doing a podcast by himself, and it's called In the Woods. I want Greg to be your first guest.
What will we talk about?
I don't know. Just stuff that happens in the woods.
Well, we
know
what the bear doesn't do.
You know what the Pope doesn't do? Does Pope Woods?
I've been after Andy to do a podcast by himself for a long time because Andy's an interesting dude.
But do you know, I get other people have suggested. In fact, the girl that called me on the phone during the last podcast, she said you need to do a podcast because she knows how much I like to drink alcohol, which I'm not drinking now. I'm on a wagon. But she says you need to do a podcast called What's Andy Drinking?
No.
And just get totally hammered for like an hour on a podcast and see what happens.
I'm sorry, it'll only make it one show.
Not happening.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to see that.
But we're talking about good stuff here.
Yeah.
What's good under the hood?
Well, and leading off for our episode today, Greg, the government is investigating EV batteries that may catch fire. I mean, are we at the point now where maybe we put the cart before the horse here and we haven't figured out a lot of the safety aspects that go into some of these EVs?
Do you remember the podcast when you said, break it down to me like I'm a 5-year-old?
Yeah. And I got mocked.
And my response was, duh.
Duh.
You know, I think we're going to refer back to that podcast. Yeah. You know, everybody's in a hurry. You know, nobody can get it together enough to take the time because, well, it's all the other back hidden agendas that are forcing that stuff. And it's very unfortunate, you know, but I've seen recall notices go out to other manufacturers that telling customers not to park their car in the garage. And that's kind of interesting, but until they get their fix on it, the recall done on it. I think the battery that you're referring to was LG.
Right.
LG makes pretty good products from what I know, because I've had a few phones, few TVs and all that, but they obviously have some other issue. And I think there were several manufacturers that were using them. So that's a problem. That's an issue.
I'm disturbed that I got this article from Al Jazeera.
What are you doing reading Al Jazeera anyway?
I don't know. I found it. I was like, okay, that looks interesting. But that it is the LG battery you were talking about. So yeah, they normally make good stuff. I don't know.
I mean, how many cases of burning down cars have we had though? I mean, is it prevalent? Is it a bunch?
Yeah, Kia had a problem with their Soul and with the I think it was the Optima and the Sportage, Soul Optima Sportage, where they had some issues, and those were not EV. And then, but yeah, there's been a fair amount. I think Tesla even battled some of that, having battery issues that were doing the wrong thing. You know, those batteries they have antifreeze that runs through them to keep that whole thing cool. There's
really?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of energy and heat generated by those, so they have to keep them cool. So that may have something to do with it.
All right.
I wonder if they're ever going to get
just
to
a guess.
I wonder if they're ever going to get to the point where NASCAR drives EVs.
We're not, brother. We're not that far away from it. I mean, there's electric vehicle racing right now.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one yet.
That's boring as hell.
No, it really isn't.
Okay.
You know, there's and I don't know whether it's what group it is, whether it's IMSA or whatever, but there is a class of electric vehicles that run, and they're just blistering fast. I mean, just ridiculous. And it's a whine instead of a loud motor, but it's pretty cool.
You have to sell me on that, Greg, because I grew up with NASCAR where the guys had the big smoldering engines that were going out there to Darlington and Rockingham and all that.
But the whole point is to go fast, and if an EV hauls ass, like Teslas do. I mean, I've ridden in my little brother's Tesla.
Yes.
It's quick.
Very quick. Whoops.
Wow.
Whoa. Tackled the microphone.
Excuse
me. I scratched my head, and then I went to put my arm down, and I hit the microphone. I'm a non-professional as opposed to you guys.
You know, when I haul ass, I have to make 2 trips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get that fixed.
You know why Rob's in such a good mood today?
Why?
Because his wife and his kids are in Chicago. He's got the house to himself.
Actually, it sucks because I got to take care of all the animals, and we don't.
The hairless guinea pigs.
I have 3 hairless guinea pigs.
Well, you had 4, but the dog
Well,
ate one.
We had 2, and this is what happened quickly because this is interesting, sort of. We had 2 hairless guinea pigs. My 125-pound German Shepherd came into the house, which she normally does. My daughter had the guinea pig cage open. The German Shepherd went in and got her a snack, which was one of our guinea pigs. Of course, my daughter had to watch guinea pig homicide right there in the guinea pig room. So we were going to go
living on a farm. They learn those kinds of things.
Well,
It's
then
like
we were going to
4-H.
go to Arkansas because that's the only place we could find a guinea pig. And one of the listeners of my fine Fox Sports program sent me a message and said, "Hey, idiot, don't go to Arkansas. Got some in Lexington." So we go to Lexington. I think we're getting 1 pig. And then Karen tells me, "Well, we didn't have to spend all this money to go to Arkansas, so we're going to get 2." So now I have 3 pigs. And the
dog is not allowed in the house
and
anymore.
well, the dog comes in the house, but now it's a disaster. Anyway, but I have to take care of the whole
the farm.
I feel
farm.
extremely blessed. I have none of that at all. I don't have a dog. I don't have a cat. I don't have guinea pigs. There's squirrels in the front yard and deer in the backyard, but they're just passing
Well,
through.
Greg, would you have a dog or a cat or a guinea pig? What kind of person are you?
I would have a dog.
Yeah, he'd have a dog.
I don't want to. The reason I don't have a dog is because the things that go along with it.
Yeah, like having to take care of it.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, it's
tough.
like having another child. I have 2 kids and I love them both, but
They're out of the house now on their
Yeah,
own.
they're grown up and doing well. So I think I'm finished with that program.
Well, anyway, but we were talking about the whole thing with those batteries, and it's almost to the point now where they sell you one of these electric vehicles, and it almost has to have a disclaimer with it, and the stuff that you have to. I mean, getting the charge port at your house. And,
You know what? There's a lot of risk in life in general.
Well, there was
So,
also a risk of buying a Pinto. Remember the Pintos? People would hit you in the back and they'd blow up because the gas.
Ford pickup had the gas tank behind
Yeah.
the seat.
I mean, they worked all these little things out, but it took time.
Well, remember me talking when I was talking about leasing, I was talking about the Audi 5000 and when it had sudden acceleration problem. That's why you now have to put your foot on the brake before you put your car in gear. So it is an evolution of things that go wrong that get everything to where it goes right. NHTSA, National Highway Traffic Safety Association, I guess, is they're pretty. Is that right? Association.
I'm trying to make the
National
NHTSA.
NHTSA. It's
National
National Highway. No,
National Institute.
I don't know.
NIT.
Highway
I don't
Traffic
know.
Safety. I don't
Makes
think
no
it's-
sense.
Anyway, whatever. NHTSA.
That's what it's called.
NHTSA sweater.
Yeah, it's not a NHTSA 240Z. Anyway, oh my God, do we just get derailed into something stupid?
Always.
What was I lying about?
Oh,
No, we had, there's always something that's going to create an issue, and then you got to fix it and move on. So, I mean, they'll master the battery
They'll
thing.
work
But
it out.
if I was a guessing man, it has something to do with they're not able to cool them properly.
you mentioned the radiator. They have to have coolant that goes through them. I mean,
It runs. There's and I didn't know that either. My friend Zach Parker, who owns a company called Redline Smoke Detection, which he's got it set up at your house to make sure there's no smoke coming out over there, Andy. But no, but what they do is he has these machines that technicians use that they plug into evap systems on cars. So if your car has a vacuum leak somewhere, you put a smoke machine on it and it runs smoke through the thing, and you'll see where the leak is. It sure helps a technician find a leak a whole lot faster. Well, they've also developed a product that is able to detect leaks in these containers that hold the batteries, because the batteries are in an enclosed container that has some coolant in it to keep them cool, and it can't leak, because if it does, I think that's why this problem happens as well. So, but I was unaware that it had to have coolant as well.
I'm just wondering, having that coolant. I mean, people buy a lot of these cars thinking that they're decreasing their carbon footprint, but if you're having that coolant, that's kind of
Well, I don't think that's
defeating
a
the
serviceable element. I think that's an enclosed deal.
yeah, but you still have to have it, though. I mean, it's I don't know.
No,
I mean,
let's talk about the environment and roll into the next story, which this is really important.
Can I just read the headline?
You certainly may.
Let's make sure that this is from KATV, which is in
It's west of Mississippi. We know that much.
I don't know. Anyway,
All the K's are.
here's the headline.
Is that right?
Yeah, all the K's are. That's why we're W whatever over here, and they're K whatever.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's Mississippi. It's the
I
dividing line.
did not know that.
Man, we taught Greg Hood something today, Andy.
Yes.
Well,
that's
How many podcasts have we done? And we finally taught Greg something.
I know that even freeways run east-west, and
I didn't know that.
and odds run north-south.
I am so happy
So
about
95, 75, or 10 comes across the United States. 80, 70,
40.
40.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
40 is like one of the longest ones ever. It goes
Well, they're
across the
all-
entire country.
They all do. 10
Really?
does, 40 does, 80 runs into Pennsylvania, which is darn near across the country it starts in San Francisco.
I can't believe we taught him something.
You did teach me something. I did not know
Let's learn
about
something too.
the K's and the W's.
I mean, there is hope for us.
Yay.
All right, so here's the headline. I'll try to give it my news read here, Andy. You can be the judge on this.
All right.
Climate activists urge people to deflate SUV tires to hit car industry where it hurts.
On NBC.
Yeah, well, I'm not
Yeah.
sure about how they actually are telling them to deflate them, but I think they're telling them to damage the tire.
Right.
And if that's the case, isn't that an environmental issue in itself? It's bad enough that we have tires that are stacked up all over this planet,
Right.
and they're recycling them fairly well and putting them into interstates and whatnot. But so you're going to go out and create damage. It'd be like setting fire to an oil well because you don't want it to produce oil. And that's what
So-
they're doing. And the other part of it is, I'm sorry to interrupt that. SUVs don't get as bad a mileage as what they used to. They used to get 10 miles a gallon. You can buy a Tahoe now and you roll down the interstate, you probably get 22, 23.
So this is from @Adbusters on Twitter. Please go and don't follow them. Just go and mock them from afar. It says, so here's what we do. Wedge gravel in the tire valves. Leaflet the SUV to let them know the tires are flat and why it was done and walk away.
Yeah, who's going to do that?
Yeah, who's
They're
going to
not.
walk up
They're
and
gonna
just
stab them?
It's that simple. If we organize, we can hit enough SUVs in particular neighborhoods to spark reporting and spread the meta meme. We do this neighborhood at a time to make the biggest splash. Organize a crew off of any traceable apps, but they're putting it on Twitter and telling you to do that. What a bunch of idiots. And make leaflets.
I catch you touching my car, and
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Good luck, bro.
We've got an issue.
We've got a problem. And make leaflets that lay out the case for climate action. The mission is not to win individual converts at this point, but to engender a systemic aversion to SUVs.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Which SUVs? I sell a CX-9 SUV, and it's not huge, and that's my biggest one. So where's their threshold? Is that a Sequoia? Is it a Tahoe? Is it a Yukon? What is it?
I don't know, but they actually put out the leaflet that they want you after you deflate someone's tires. Here's the leaflet. It says your tires are
They're gonna
flat.
stab them.
It isn't
Yeah.
personal. SUVs are disproportionately fueling the climate crisis. They're the second largest contributor to increasing global CO2 emissions since 2010, and they're totally unnecessary.
I would like to see these people who are so concerned with the SUVs, because 18-wheelers that carry everything that we use in our daily lives, they burn a lot of fuel too. I want to see one of these people arrive at the truck stop, all these truck drivers, and go out and start doing their stupid stuff.
Well,
Then I think there would be an issue.
I just don't understand who appointed them to be in charge, and
Great point.
saying that they don't need an SUV. How are you going to tell me if I got 6 kids that I don't need one? So I can drive a van? Is that okay?
Or maybe they want me to drive 2 cars, like small cars.
There
like
you go.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna. But here's the thing, though. I always look at this from the perspective of how many people are following them. There are a ton of people that are following these folks on Twitter. They have 65,000 followers. So someone thinks, or probably feels the way these people
There are
feel.
65,000 knuckleheads out there, I promise you. In this United States of America, there are plenty. They are absolutely incredible. But I'm really confused by all this stuff that makes them think that is going to change our climate.
They're not trying to change any climate. They're trying to they're just trying to make their point, an invalid point.
They're activists, and
they're just
but
looking for clicks.
I don't understand. Maybe you're right?
They're looking for clicks and people to get involved. I mean, idiots.
See, that's my fault for bringing it up on the
No,
podcast.
but here's the thing, and I made the comment about them stabbing. I'm not kidding. I promise you, my name is Greg Hood, that it's going to roll from them letting out your air out of your tires with a valve stem remover and putting a note on your car to them just slashing tires. It's the way it works.
Who the hell's got a valve stem remover? I could just go and
I
get
do.
my.
I got one on my keychain.
Seriously?
Of
No.
course you do.
Oh, I was about to say, I was about to be stunned by that. No, it would have been great. Like, you could have told me that, and I would have believed you.
I own one.
Of course
I
you
own
do.
about
Well, you're in the
4 of them.
car business. You own everything having to do with cars.
Well, I'm at home. I mean, I'm not talking about at work, but I have valve stem removers.
Well, I tell you what, if you do that and I'm not trying to be Mr. Big Billy bad guy, but
Why would you have those at home?
why not?
What would be why would you need to take out your valve stems when you're at home?
Well, I've ridden bicycles for years.
Oh, okay, so bicycles.
It's a Schrader valve, and that's the same one that's on you. Did you know it's called a Schrader valve?
I didn't. Mr. Schrader invented it.
He must have. And then I have the Schrader valve removal tool. So, what's the other valve? There's Schrader.
We should
I'll
Google
think.
it.
I'll think of it. No, I'll think of it.
Well,
Just
instead of
blurt it out whenever you do.
let's go at it from this perspective, Greg. Let's look at it from a positive point here.
By the way, I need to stop you. Hold that thought.
Sure.
My friend John said we should not have used John and crapper in the same sentence.
Oh, really?
Well, because of the term John. I've got to go to the John.
Oh, that's right.
And you did. You violated the policy. All right, back to you.
Oh, man.
For that.
By the way, go and check out the archives of the show, and you can find the John and Crapper podcast.
Was it truly John Crapper or Tom Crapper?
It was Thomas Crapper.
Thomas Crapper.
Thomas
That's
Crapper.
right. I'm
Yeah,
the one that
but you called
named
him
wrong.
John.
Yeah, John.
But
sorry.
Then John, my friend John, says, I'm offended that you use John and crapper in the same conversation. All right.
Andy's been called a John before. It's all right.
Ooh. By
Anyway,
the police department.
I was just gonna let it lay there. Greg's like, no.
I'm gonna
Greg's
pick it up
gonna
and
kick it
run with
around
it.
a
Yeah.
bit.
Greg's gonna kick that around like a soccer ball. But no, is there a positive thing to think of as far as with a car, if you that can help on the front of helping the environment? And what I mean by that
You're
is not
like doing word salad like the vice
no,
president
it's
does.
like I wrote
are you
this
talking
question out,
about?
but I didn't know exactly how to put it out because I wanted to give something of a positive note instead of just saying screw you if you touch my tires, I'm going to sick my dog on you. Isn't there something better that we could do if you really
Well,
cared about the environment and you were going to buy a car?
Where you could sick your dog because it's vicious after the
Yeah.
Well,
guinea pig
Kamala,
issue.
let me tell
Kamala.
you. Let me tell you, Kamala. Or is it Kamala or Kamala?
It's Kamala.
Uh,
Kamala.
Okay.
Comma. It's like comma and la. That's when she said it when she was running. She got really pissy about people.
well,
not
but
saying
no,
her
I
name
mean,
right.
it's just, I mean, the cars I think are more fuel efficient now than they used to be. So, I mean, there's that too, right?
You know what? If you don't want to be contributing to that, don't drive. But I guarantee every one of those people out there letting the air out of somebody's tires rolled up in a car.
Yep.
So they're deciding that they're more important because they have obviously most of them probably don't have an electric car because most of them don't have jobs, I would be guessing. That's a stupid thing to say.
No, it's not. It probably
No,
well.
but you know, and that's if they roll up to my house in an EV and do that, it would be like, really? Okay. I mean, I'd be kind of shocked too.
What's your German Shepherd's name?
Elsa.
Meet Elsa. Have a nice day.
Elsa. Yeah. Elsa will take care of it for you.
Exactly. You know, I don't know what's wrong with people. I really don't. You know, I mean, not everybody believes the same things about what's going on or the reasons behind climate.
Right.
I know the climate changes. I'm not going to get into that and say everybody can make comments that I'm wrong. I'm not wrong or they're not right. Here's the deal. Our climate's changing. Our climate has always changed.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What makes them and I still am back to the same theory, then plant more trees. If we're putting out so much carbon and we got more trees now than we've ever had, just plant more of them.
That's why God invented Arbor Day.
Did God invent Arbor Day?
Did God,
I was not aware.
Well, somebody did.
God invents everything, sir,
Yes.
in a roundabout way.
He put us people out there letting air out of people's tires.
Yeah. I don't know where to go from
You
there.
should smite them.
I guess I was just trying to think of something that could be more positive on that front. But in reality, yeah, if you come and do that to my car, we're
Elsa
gonna have
will
issues.
eat your face off.
Well, how about this? How about this for a minute? So I've got an SUV, and my child gets hurt, and I've got to rush them to some medical situation. I don't want to wait for an ambulance because it's that bad. And I roll out the door, and somebody left a note on my car that said, "I let the air out of your tire," and my kid dies. So now what? Who's
Well, they'll claim it's a victim of climate change. They'll say climate change did that to them. I'm serious. That's what they'll blame it on, that or something else, or whatever the next talking point from their 65,000 followers will give them.
I think my point is that, it's, once again, it's unintended consequences.
Right.
They think that what somebody's doing by driving, and I don't drive an SUV. I don't have any skin in that game. I drive a car. I mean, or a motorcycle. My motorcycle gets better fuel economy than most of the those other cars.
Greg's doing his part, Andy. What are you doing?
I walk to work every day.
He drives a Honda.
Trying to walk.
He walks a Honda to work.
Oof.
By the way,
Yeah.
so I have a question.
Right.
It's a personal question.
Right.
Day before yesterday, I drove home the truck that I bought I drive it all the time. It's an 09 Dodge. I bought it from Brody. It was his father-in-law's or something. It's a nice pickup.
It's pretty good shape. I saw that truck.
It's a terrific truck. It's got 60,000 miles on an 09. Had 52, I think, when I bought it. And I drive it every day. But anyway, I was driving home and I was turning onto my street and I realized that the gas light was on and I must have been in oblivion. And then I looked at the gas gauge and it was down past E. It was in the W area for a walk. And so I went back I left to come to work and I stopped to get gas. And I put 26.25 gallons of fuel in the tank.
Right.
And then I Googled how many gallons in a tank of a 09 Dodge Ram 1500.
Wasn't 26.
It was 26. So how did I put more? And don't tell me the filler neck. Could have been the filler neck. But would have been the filler neck. I mean, was I that out of gas?
Were you that empty though?
I don't know. The car didn't die. It didn't stumble. I pulled in it looked like it from the gauge.
This is some conspiracy theory type stuff.
So the question is the gas station getting to me a little bit?
Yeah. Or are they telling? Yeah. Is the gauge correct?
They have to calibrate it, and maybe it was not calibrated.
Maybe Google was wrong.
No.
Google's never wrong.
But 26 gallons, and I put 26.25. All I know is this: I was close to walking.
Well, you were definitely on the verge.
Yeah, I mean, you put 26 gallons in.
I wasn't even concerned about what fuel cost at that moment. I just whipped right in there.
Yeah.
You can't buy lunch after filling up that car. That's insane.
Actually, it hit $97. I think is what I put in there.
That's insane.
Just think if we were in California, it would have been 130. That's
you can't buy dinner either. We're just gonna starve.
Exactly. I need that. That works for me.
Well, there you go. All right, Andy.
Are we done?
We're done.
I believe so.
Adios, amigos. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Please, you see it scrolling this time. Thanks, Rob. Please like, subscribe, and share the show and set notification when new episodes.
And leave a comment down
below. That's right.
We'd love to hear from you.
And
Tell
we put
us
a
how
tip,
handsome we are.
And we put a tip button on there too. Leave us plenty.
All right. Bye-bye.
What's good under the hood?